Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website about reimagining your life. Thanks for joining me today to talk about election etiquette. So let's get started. If you like what you hear today, please leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, send me a message. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about, well, behaving nicely. It's election night in 2024, all sorts of excitement. Finally, the campaign season is ending. And so, you know, it's a simple topic in a lot of ways, and we've talked about it before, both this year and in previous years. And we're talking about election day etiquette, of course, and it extends to the days after the election day as well, like, for example, perhaps the rest of your life. Because between mainstream news and various troll farms flaming in the infernos that happen on social media, nothing can be a topic for discussion anymore, and everything is fair game to be mortally offending and even cause claims that your rights were violated because you were triggered without warning. Similarly, everyone on both sides of the political aisles are making wild claims and preparing for Armageddon and the end of the world. To everyone I say, please, just stop it. Is politics important? Yes, definitely. But so are many other things: national security, national debt, our form of government, judicial independence, having a diverse political landscape instead of two sides of the same coin. The list goes on and on. But much of the country has now been trained that not only the most important thing, but often the only thing that matters in your life is your political leaning. I've been called a worthless, ignorant, heartless, uncaring scum by the man whose care I was helping to pay for while he was eating dinner that I was also paying for at a restaurant. How could this be? Because, as had become so common, he was painting the evil ones in broad strokes based not upon their actions, but by their political leanings. Generalizations, especially dehumanizing terms, when we just give a name to something that doesn't have any sort of humanity associated with it. That sort of talk has no place in a civil society. And yet, that is all we see at all levels by both parties these days. Again, two sides of the same coin. When the president, vice president, former president, and vice presidential candidate all feel comfortable calling the other half of the political spectrum various names, including terrorists, there's a real breakdown in society. And insofar as elections being stolen, have you bothered to check out the news from Venezuela or Georgia, the country? Both recently had elections, and the loser, who is the incumbent in both cases, simply ignored the results and called out the military to attack the citizens. So no, we have never been even mildly close to having an election truly stolen. As with everything, what happens will happen, but it's still up to you as to how you react to it. Personally, except as needed for my work with this podcast, I essentially never scroll through any of the social media channels anymore these days. I truly have better things to do with my time than listen to my friends, and potentially some soon to be former friends, make fools of themselves on the world stage. Any article or story that breathlessly starts out predicting the end of the world if this or that candidate wins is not honored by my reading past the first paragraph, sometimes just past the headline. Conversely, any story that starts out with a fact-based statement will get my full attention, irrespective of whether or not it's for or against my particular viewpoints. See the trend here? I'm fanatically interested in the future of our country, and equally fanatically uninterested in baseless accusations based upon generalizations. I have the right and the ability to filter the news I consume based upon quality of content, and to equally avoid opinions that are really just attacking other groups based upon baseless common knowledge and more generalizations. Not only do I have that right and ability, so do you. If you don't like the news you're seeing or listening to, or if there aren't many facts and it's just rehashing accusations, find another news source. And if you don't like what your friends are saying or how they're saying it, then it may be time to reconsider what's most important to you in a friendship. And perhaps it's time to uplevel your friendship selection criteria. Especially as we get older, making new friends isn't an easy choice. But living with the stress or even being emotionally attacked is not a healthy lifestyle either. And remember that it's okay to not get swept up in the heated or accusatory discussions, and that you aren't obligated to watch TV news or browse social media. It's your life, and you have the right to live it in any way that's consistent with your vision and goals. That includes not being part of the partisan fighting and finding people who also feel that there's merit in looking for commonality instead of differences. Good luck in navigating the needlessly hostile landscape that we're in these particular days, and don't be put off or excessively swayed by the many predictions of doom if one person wins or the other. That's it for the evening. Just a little short one today, the annual reminder. Just be nice on election day. Your homework, always optional, is to come up with some ways of avoiding answering someone who asks you who you voted for. It can range from simple meaningless sorts of phrases like, it was a very difficult choice, to the more forward, there's a reason they're called secret ballots, or even a little joke. You're under no obligation to have to share your choices, and just ignore when people try and pressure you. Extra points if you also think about ways to excuse yourself from the heated political discussions. Again, things like a little joke such as, this sounds like my last meeting at work, or just say that you don't feel that this is how friends should talk to each other, or any other way that you feel comfortable saying. So please remember that there are many wars active in the world these days in Ukraine, the Middle East, Africa, many places around the world. There's a lot of suffering going on. And UKR7, those are links to places we can donate for aid for the Ukraine. And then, of course, worldcentralkitchen.org, WCK.org. They primarily do food prep using local ingredients. So instead of having food spoil locally and then try and ship food in remotely, they try and get to the crops that are already available locally, get those prepared and out to people wherever disasters are going on. Both great organizations. As always, if you can and you're able to make a donation, either one of those, a local organization, whatever, something that aligns with your feelings and views, or even if you can't or don't want to make a donation, remember that one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. So just look outside yourself, look at somebody when you meet them on the street, give a smile, say hello, just spread a little bit of pleasantness in the world, especially these days, and you might make a huge change in the world, because somebody who maybe was thinking really down and thinking not good thoughts, and you just say, hey, good morning, could be something as simple as that, and it might change their day. Again, remember, one of the best ways to care for yourself is to care for others. So look outside yourself and try and spread the care around. That's it for the evening. As always, thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting or useful, please pass it along, and please subscribe and hit that like button. And if not, please drop me a comment as to what you'd like to hear. Have a great week. Remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone, and see you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.